So we will start with our panel discussion now. For this, I will invite Mr. Amir Jahangir, CEO of Mashal, Pakistan. Jahangir is a design thinker and innovator. He is leading strategic communication and media professional in the world. He was honored as the Young Global Leader by the World Economic Forum for his work on development initiatives to improve the state of media and governance. So his professional career is decorated with many national and international portfolios, like CEO at Sama and advisor at Stanford University, US. I request Mr. Jahangir to take over the stage to moderate this session. Please.
So, on my panel, I have some of the very interesting people who have been doing things in Pakistan which is putting Pakistan on the global map. I would like to invite first Mr. Wajahat Malik. Is Wajahat here? Okay. Miss Angela Carson. Angela is doing some amazing work in Balochistan. She has, I think you should. Hello. And I would like to invite, hi Vijay, Mr. Osama Satya. So the perception of Pakistan globally, there are different aspects to that. But one thing is very encouraging that in the last 1 year, Pakistan has improved its global ranking on Travel and Tourism Index for 20 points, which is a remarkable work that has been done by the PTDC and other stakeholders in the country. I would like to congratulate PTDC on that also. But there are other issues as well. The perception in terms of what people think about Pakistan is slightly different than what the reality is. So my question first would be with Wajahat. Wajahat, you are a media person. What do you think is the problem area, that why the message of Pakistan is not getting through? I did.
Geez, hello everyone, and thank you for inviting me here to talk my mind. And I'll be very candid because it's not that everything is beautiful and hunky-dory in this country. There are issues, and those issues need to be addressed. I'll tell you about myself so that I sound authentic. For the past 24 years, I've been associated with media industry, and I basically am an adventure travel filmmaker. I've traveled the length and breadth of this country, and I organize a mountain film festival in Pakistan, which is one of the only 3 mountain film festivals in the whole of Asia. South Korea walon ko bhi humne organize karke diya tha. And I'm also an adventure enthusiast, so I fly paragliders and I climb mountains. And 2 years ago, I led an expedition where we rafted the entire course of Indus from where it enters into Pakistan all the way down to Karachi. It was a 45-day long expedition that was filmed. And there were a lot of interesting stories that we have. Now, coming back to your question, see, the thing is, for the past 24 years, I've attended dozens of conferences on this very same subject. I've seen Musharraf's time, Noon, PPP, all governments come and go, Or after 9/11, जो पाकिस्तान का इमेज इतना हार्ड हुआ है कि वो आज तक सॉफ्ट हो ही नहीं सका. और मज़े की बात है, the whole idea of soft image is I feel quite, the whole terminology, everybody's throwing around the term soft image, soft. There is no such thing as soft image. You know, what we have is sellable image. You know, how do we sell ourselves, our unique selling points? And I'll tell you what our unique selling points are. Hospitality, mountains, deserts. There is so much diversity in culture in this country, so much, you know, ancient civilizations. We have everything. But we haven't been able to project ourselves as a country which has all this potential. And you know, the problem is us. We have not invested in actually projecting the real sellable image of this country. Have you ever seen a TV commercial or an ad or a documentary about Pakistan on CNN, BBC, National Geographic, Discovery, Travel Channel? None. Okay? 24 सालों से मैं हर कॉन्फ्रेंस पे ये पिट रहा था कि यार they should like have a media campaign, a proper media campaign like Incredible India, Malaysia Truly Asia, where you know you actually take it and go along with it. The problem here is ad hocism, short-sightedness, shortcuts. You know, we basically try to. How can you like build the image of a country like that? Or दूसरी बात है ना, we think everybody knows us. You go and ask anyone. I travel a lot, and when I go and people, where are you from? They think I'm an Indian. I said, I'm from Pakistan. Where is that? First of all, if even they say they know Pakistan, you know, they know the country for all the wrong reasons, you know, because we are in the news. Doesn't matter. You know, पूरी दुनिया में दहशतगर्दी होती है. Sri Lanka में नहीं थी. There was insurgency for 30 years. Thailand, South Thailand, there was an insurgency. You know, even the bombs used to go off in Madrid during the Basque insurgency. The thing is, you know, being in the news for all the wrong reasons is not a problem because, you know, after all, जो incident होगा, आप उसको छुपा तो नहीं सकते. It's going to be reported all over the world. You have embassies who report. So the thing is, we have to counter that image, the negative image that we have. And how do we do that? By investing into all the media-related things that we can do. Have you ever seen a Hollywood film, a British film, or a Hong Kong film, any film for that matter, being shot? None. Have you ever seen Pakistani films actually doing co-productions with any of the industries in the world? Zero. Here are baat karte hain perception. So the problem is, you know, basically you have to actually, ye jo sari baatein hain, you have to actually look into them. See, the problem with us is we talk big, but we don't want to invest into perception building. You know, हम shortcuts लेना चाहते हैं, हम vloggers के through मुल्क को promote करना चाहते हैं. You know, vlog, यार vlogging से मुल्क promote नहीं होते. See, the thing is, so the problem is, you need to invest. You have embassies, give them good content, shoot good content in Pakistan, give them to the embassies so they can have. कभी आपने सुना है कि बाहर के मुल्क में कोई पाकिस्तान का कोई फिल्म फेस्टिवल हुआ जहाँ पे पाकिस्तानी फिल्में दिखाई जा रही हों? So, you know, all these things matter, and I'm saying all this because my heart bleeds, because for the past 24 years, it's the same flogging, the same dead old horse. And you know, you don't come up with anything. I feel that the Ministry of Tourism, which doesn't exist, there's PTDC, and you know, it's provincial subject hai BB. They should actually sit and devise a media strategy for once. You know, not कि छोटी सी फिल्म इधर बना दी और एक उधर दिखा दिया और फिर होने लगे कि जी वो पाकिस्तान को तो कोई पहचानते ही नहीं है. You know, we are not a known tourist destination. So you look, you have to project yourself. Look at India next doors. वो कैसे अपने आप को project करते हैं? Through their films, you know, through their music. अभी आपने सुना है पाकिस्तान में कोई बहुत बड़ा celebrity singer ने आके इधर concert किया हो? बुलाएं ना किसी को इधर concert करवाएं तो फिर पूरी दुनिया में गूंज होगी कि जी को उधर लाहौर, इस्लामाबाद, कराची में concert हुए. You know, it's not about just focusing on tourism and documentaries. There is more to perception building.
Okay. Angela, despite all these realities, you chose to make Pakistan as your second home and also a destination for tourism also. So how has your been, why did you choose Pakistan? You have to
just press the button.
I think it's green now. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. Can everyone hear me? So I'm going to give a brief bio as well because, just so you know, I am credible also. I first came to Pakistan during the pandemic. I was living in Indonesia and my visa was expiring. Only Dubai and Pakistan would take an American passport. I haven't lived in the US in decades because I just don't like it. And so Pakistan had just been named the Destination of the Year 2020 by Condé Nast Traveler. And I wrote a simple social media post. Hey, I'm thinking of coming to Pakistan for a couple of months. Where should I go? Every single person all around the world said, go to the north, go to the north, go to the mountains and lakes. And it really annoyed me because I don't like always going where the touristy spots are. And I found a YouTube channel called Balochistan, Land of Beauty. And I started binging this man's Safe's videos, and they were magical. And that actually brought me to Pakistan. And so I ended up giving up a work visa in Malaysia to stay a whole year in Pakistan. I did shoot about 90 vlogs. And the interesting thing, there was a gentleman who spoke about overseas Pakistani. Sorry, I'll get to your question in a sec. But the overseas Pakistani comment that came up earlier, the majority, I used to make like $100, $200 a month on my YouTube revenue because that wasn't my real job. I was a chief marketing officer. I made really good money. When I came to Pakistan, I had been writing for Condé Nast Traveler, Travel and Leisure, Maxim, Esquire, reviewing five-star hotels in Asia. So all of a sudden, I'm reviewing all of the five-star hotels. I'm the first human on the planet to review all of the five-star hotels in Pakistan outside of the north. I never went to the north because everybody told me to, and I was very defiant. But my YouTube channel revenue went from a couple $100s a month to $2,000 a month because those overseas Pakistanis were seeing Pakistan through my eyes. And I don't quite understand exactly why, but when a Pakistani or when someone sees something through a white solo, I was a female solo traveler. I also am from a Western country, which they watched my videos. They absorbed my videos that I used to get, 3,000 views on a Marriott video in Indonesia. I'm now getting 200,000. And people were fascinated. They had never seen that side of Pakistan. But it's also, I love the PTDC and I love the support, and I do think they make such an effort. But the effort that's made isn't, I'm so sorry, I don't remember your name. Okay, so it is what has been said. Malaysia, Truly Asia, Saudi does an amazing job with their tourism. Morocco as well. And so for me, when I came over and I was vlogging, I didn't come here to get followers. I just wanted some place to work remotely with the clients that I still had. And Pakistan took my passport. And I ended up falling in love so much with Pakistan that 2 years later, I've now moved here and set up my own company. But I saw the difference that it made with the overseas Pakistanis more than anything. They couldn't get enough of it. But the interesting thing, when I started doing, because I'm also, since 9/11, I'm the foreigner to explore the longest in Balochistan. So all of the places that our friend was talking about earlier, I've been to all of those. Even one of them that was up on the screen, that is an ancient site, it's been bulldozed by a tribal rivalry that happened, Mergar. That place doesn't exist anymore, but I don't think everyone even knows that. But when I started promoting Balochistan, which was what my heart really wanted, I did all of the hotels first. I promoted the hotels. People loved that. They couldn't get enough. And the moment I stepped in Balochistan, nobody cared. Absolutely no one cared. And it's because of the perception that Balochistan has, which I've said this before, the same way that the world views Pakistan as being dangerous and full of terrorists, because that's how Hollywood has portrayed it. That's how me as an American, I know that my government has used Pakistan as a scapegoat and turned the media against Pakistan. The same way that the world sees Pakistan, Pakistanis see Balochistan. But I do see how vlogging opened up the eyes to some overseas, especially the overseas Pakistanis. And for some reason, the way it works, if you were looking for halal tourism, you wouldn't look at my channel for the best places to eat, drink, and sleep. You would look for someone who looks more like you. You wouldn't look at mine. It's kind of the same thing with foreigners. If foreigners are going to be consuming content, you kind of want to see someone who looks like you. So when I decided to come to Pakistan, it was Eva Zubek and Rosie Gabriel, who I'm still really good friends with. She just messaged me wishing me luck this morning. But those two women showing how safe it was, how hospitable it was, that shifted the tide for me to not go to Dubai, but to come to Pakistan. And then it was just, I fell in love from there, and yeah, now I live here and you're stuck with me for a while. I think, well, my business visa, I think, is almost approved, but yeah, you might be stuck with me for a while.
Osama, you are a journalist as well as a business professional. So, what makes Pakistan interesting for you? And if you can also share some of your experiences with Pakistan.
First of all, Assalamu alaikum everybody. Really, I am so delighted being here on stage, and thank you very much for everybody who helped people to come and visit this lovely country. Sincerely and honestly, it was a surprise to me to see how Pakistan is full of such mixture and diversity of cultural landscapes, beauty of nature, religious places, spiritual places. Everything is available here. So when any person comes for the first time, by the way, this is not my first time, but the first time to Islamabad and to Lahore, capital of Punjab, but it was before to Karachi, as our airline company operating direct flights from Damascus, regular flights from Damascus to Karachi once a week, unfortunately once a week. And I say, fortunately, we have and had the opportunity to come here and to see this beautiful city with lovely people, friendly people. Honestly, I'm really very, very excited and satisfied of what I have seen. But there is also, between two brackets, but. As my friend from Italy said, I don't want, of course, to repeat what he said and my colleagues also on the stage, but I wanted to attract your kind attention to the most important things in regard or in perspective of marketing. That you have everything, you have the materials, you have the products, tangible products, you have everything, but you need to focus and highlight all these products professionally. How can we do this? Unfortunately, I didn't find here a lot of bloggers. I didn't find how they showcase their products professionally. We need some young generation just to focus on this perspective of this aspect, because your product is valuable and you have a lot of things. But if you have the product, it's not enough to have it, to hold it in your hands. You have to know how to promote, how to sell this product effectively and professionally. It's a good start that the PTDC in Pakistan, and I would like to thank, of course, the head of them, Mr. Aftab, for inviting me here. It's a good opportunity, but what we are going to do as we come here to contribute with you to promote this lovely country, we have to put a plan together. And as my colleague said, that tourism is allowing people just to be together and to collaborate with others, just to show their interests in such, markets. Pakistan deserves a lot of care about all these treasures. And from my point of view, we have to focus on the following. First of all, to know how to showcase all these unbelievable products everywhere from east to west, from north to south, and to give all audience from all countries. It's not necessary also to focus on the far markets like USA, Australia, sorry, or whatever you say, but you have also to focus on the short hook markets like China, your neighboring countries. This could be much more feasible from my perspective. You need also to focus on the social media platforms and to make more and more videos, stories, share all these. Now, the digital marketing is playing a very crucial and important role in regard of this, and we have to take that into consideration. In my country, Syria, even because of the crisis, but the new generation didn't stop to do that. They didn't rely upon, or they don't rely upon only the government role. They started to work hard and hard, even inside the depth of this crisis and conflict, just to show how Syria is looking. It's like Pakistan, an open museum, and who came and visit my country, he can consider that and he can know how this country is full of heritage also. So there are contributions between both countries, also particularly in the way how they welcome people friendly with foreigners, but this is not enough at all. We need infrastructure, we need much more professional services, just of course to know how to marketing our product very well.
Thank you. Masood Khan Sahab. Masood Sahab, you have been a tourism evangelist for decades now. So with your experience and your Thakhleeq designs, what is Pakistan's premier creativity that you would like to show?
Thank you. I will basically talk of some recommendations and solutions, but I will share few things before I make those recommendations. Number one, there is always a conflict between ideality and actuality. Once we understand the difference, I think we'll go on the right path. The second thing, I'll share a short story that there was a Salim standing on the crossroad. One road was going this way, this way, this way, and this way. And he was standing there for a very long time. So the wise man was watching him from a distance. He came to him and asked him, "Where do you want to go?" He says, "Well, I want to take one of these roads." The other guy came and said, "I want to take this road." And he said, "You've been standing here and you're saying you want to take this road. No, no, you want to take this road. Yes, I'll take this road. But where do you want to go?" And the gentleman said, "That's what I don't know." And the wise man said, "Salim, it makes no difference what road you take, because all these roads will take you nowhere." Think about it, what I just said. Now, you all are experts and you know that tourism have 6 pillars. Without them, you can't do tourism, which is policy, legislation, funding, marketing, HR, and environment. Now, environment is not only eco-environment or green environment. There's a social environment, there's a lifestyle environment, there's an economic environment, there's a political environment. Once you understand that, then we all know as experts that there is about 11 types of tourism that you can do. Now, I have seen in the developing countries that they select 1 or 2 of those 11 types of tourism and they focus on it based on the short-term plan and a 5-year plan. And they keep on focusing on that, and everyone in the entire country focus on that, and they start getting the result. Now, Pakistan being a developing country with limited resources, economic resources, I think in order to change a positive perception, you need to identify the assets of Pakistan. Like Kailash is a living civilization in the world, it's nowhere else. Shandur, Juniper Forest in Ziyarat, Monjudaro. These assets have credibility abroad in every part of the world. I can go on, there are 8 or 9 assets. The experts, the stakeholders, the decision makers should sit down together and decide that what type of asset, which asset they want to promote and market. Now, marketing is now with the National Tourism, which is PDDC, and Aftab Sahab is doing a great job. Now, I recommend and request him that he should call all the secretaries of different provinces, or maybe the ministers, sit in a closed door room and identify an aligned 5-year plan with them. The provinces should have the same language and the same goal and the same priority as the national tourism has. And all of them should be aligned, and I can assure you, you will have result. Today we have domestic tourism and everyone is saying, go to north, go to north, go to north. I assume that after 10 years, we will not be talking about northern areas because we'll destroy it. And many of the experts said that. Now, please understand that we just can't talk of adventure tourism. Adventure tourism is about 7.6 or 8% of the world tourism. And it may be growing to 10 because of the new generation. But that is the share you're going to get from that 10% or 8%. So what will be your share? I'm talking international tourism, not domestic tourism. If you're going to get that share, what type of economic impact it is going to have on the grassroots level? And once it doesn't have that, the federal government and the provinces will not give it a priority because it's not changing the life. So I also recommend very strongly that the provinces should develop a district tourism around their heritage, the assets. Get involved the local stakeholders, give them the ownership, and suddenly you will see that heritage sites will start growing. We must have legislation because we are making most of our cities into a slum because there is no town planning, because there is no legislation. So these are my recommendations.
Okay. Then, please.
Sorry, can I just, is it okay
Sure,
if
sure.
I interject? So I do hear what you're saying, and I do think, because I'm in the unique position where I came as a foreigner. I came because of what I saw online, which was from foreigners primarily. But for 28 years, I've been a branding, comms, and marketing expert. It's what I do for a living. I have my own consulting company, and it's now specialized in hospitality and tourism. So I do agree that there should be objectives by district. But where I disagree with, and I've spoken with Aftab Rana, he's been a really amazing friend of mine since before I even came to Pakistan. There are certain things that, okay, and I really don't want everyone to hate me, but there are certain things that just aren't done right here. Like the new Salam Pakistan, it should just be, the social media should be at Salam Pakistan. It's still using a derivative of like the governmental thing. So it's like Salam PDDK, something. I don't even remember what it is, and I'm here today on the panel. The social media, sorry, I actually have a video. Can they play it when I want
Sure.
to? Can you do it now? So it's kind of a good moment for it. So I'm actually going to be, I'm working with Farah Azim Shah from the Balochistan provincial government. I'm working with the administration in Balochistan, and I have the blessing of the PTDC, and I am now in the process of starting to rebrand Balochistan tourism with a new logo, new social media, new website. The video behind me, this was either shot by me or by Tassin Razi, who I think is in the audience somewhere, and my friend Saifullah, who has the YouTube channel Balochistan, Land of Beauty. But these were all just drone shots from my first trip. When I play this for people, no one can believe that this is Balochistan, because the way social media is handled in Pakistan, it's like graphic heavy, text heavy. It's not done in an influencer style. And the rest of the world, like, you know, Malaysia, Saudi, Morocco, they use that like FOMO, the fear of missing out, that influencer style that's so like engaging, because you see yourself and you see that like beautiful woman or that a lovely couple or family, and they're walking, you know, on a dune at sunset with camels, or whatever it is that attracts us foreigners to the cultural parts and the beating heart of a country. But the way it's projected, it's like projected from your spreadsheets, like what your agenda is or what you're trying to hit targets for. But you can't just show a place. You need to show a video of someone at the place. Like Tassin Razi, his Instagram is The Lone Traveler. If you don't follow him, you should. He has work in the US Embassy in Boston and New York, and has done amazing documentaries here in the country. His stuff blows my, every time I see something from him, I'm like, ooh, I haven't been there. Okay, gotta write that down. Because I see myself in him as he walks. And that's the thing. It's okay to promote these agendas and the 5-year plan and the locations, but you have to start showing it in a way that's 2024, fear of missing out, put yourself in their place, like just want to be that person that's on that photo or in that video, I think.
Bajaj, you have covered Pakistan probably the most. And your experience, and specifically your program, was probably one of the first in Pakistan to explore Pakistan through travel. What would you suggest to young filmmakers, young vloggers, young enthusiasts, what and how they should be pursuing this passion as a profession?
Yeah, I mean, exactly what Jennifer is saying, I would... Angela, yeah, sorry. Yeah, exactly. So, what I'm trying to say is that जो भी आपने मीडिया की स्ट्रैटेजी बनानी है, it has to be done by professionals. चाहे वो professionals आप बाहर से बुलाएं या locals हों, you know, they should sit, PTDC should sit with all the 4 provinces. And actually, the problem here is हमारे मुल्क में जिसका काम नहीं होता वो उस काम में घुस जाता है. मतलब यार, आपने अगर किसी से मीडिया कैंपेन बनवाना है तो उन लोगों को बुलाएं और उन लोगों से काम करवाएं जिनको काम करना आता है. उनको फिल्में भी बनानी आती हो, उनको एडवर्टाइज भी करना आता हो, उनको टूरिज़म का भी पता हो और टूरिज़म के सारे एस्पेक्ट्स का पता हो. आपका ख्याल है जो मलेशिया ट्रूली एज और कई मिसालें ये ऐसी हवा में बन गई हैं कि इधर से किसी ने आके ये कह दिया तो किसी ने वो कह दिया तो किसी ने गोरे ने फलां कह दिया. एक तो हमें गोरों से वैलिडेशन लेने की आदत ख़त्म नहीं हो रही. I mean, this colonial mindset has to go. We are capable of showcasing our own country because it is our country. We know what transpires here. हमने क्या दिखाना है. ये जो social media, I agree with the whole vlogging concept, but it is one small little aspect. इतना सा आपको पता है चिड़िया जितना होता है लोगों का attention span जब आप कोई चीज़ उस पर डालते हैं. So vlogging alone cannot change the perception about this country or project this country. What I'm talking about is a solid media campaign which spans over like a decade at least. जहाँ पे आप proper लोगों को बैठाएं, buy airtime. क्यों पाकिस्तान का स्टार क्यों नहीं चलता डिस्कवरी पे या नेशनल ज्योग्राफिक पे या CNN पे? मैंने अल्बानिया के स्टार देखे वहाँ पे चलते हुए. साउथ अफ्रीका, श्रीलंका अपने स्टार चलाते. मैंने आज तक एक एड, मुझे 24 साल हो गए हैं, नहीं देखा. आप ऐसे ही नहीं लगाते. आप चाहते हैं कोई आके हमें प्रमोट कर दे एनी हवा में मुफ्ते में. So the thing is, I would like to tell the filmmakers in this country to be very professional. This has to be solid gold content. Because, you know, it's not about just taking beautiful shots with drones and portraying. You know, there has to be certain story. You know, you have to take a theme and build upon it. So all these things are very important because आप करोड़ों का इश्तिहार बना दें एमी वन ऑफ और उसको कहें कि जी अब ये चल जाएगा तो बड़ा पाकिस्तान का इमेज बेहतर हो जाएगा. It doesn't work that way. और ये मैं पिछले 24 सालों से पिट रहा हूँ. Sorry to use that word, but it is true. लेकिन, you know, वही बात है, competence, ad hocism, बस चल चलाओ और conferences. So that's what my take is on building the perception of this country.
We would like to have questions from the audience. First, I would like to have. Please introduce yourself and then ask the question.
Yes. Thank you very much. This is Unji from UN Tourism. I have listened very carefully and interestingly your intervention. But when I was expecting this session, perception building of Pakistan, I was actually thinking more about what will be a discussion about travel advisory. You know, as a Korean national and living in Europe, the moment that I applied to travel to Pakistan, the first hurdle that I received is a travel advisory. Every countries that I'm actually belonging to is recommended not to travel to Pakistan. And then if you are in Pakistan, advised to leave immediately. That's our government is advising it. I don't say that travel advisory is correct. Sometimes they have a wrong information. Good example is when there is a tsunami, 2004 happened, travel advisory to Indonesia was advising not to travel to Indonesia, including Bali. Bali is 2,000 kilometers away from epicenter of tsunami, but still people were not able to travel to Bali. And that really devastated Bali tourism. So, and I was listening this morning's investment forum and advertising how beautiful it is and how, you know, pristine it is, but I didn't actually hear how safe it is to travel for foreigners. And I think that's the part of the things that I was expecting to listen more and, you know, not about changing the perception of public. It's the fact that when they want to travel, that's the first thing. That travel advisory of level 3, 4 means that you cannot get the travel insurance even if you want to travel. So that's the main point that I'd like to address. And I don't know if you have any other comments about these aspects, because this is the reality, and then this is a very serious reality for perception building in Pakistan. Thank you.
May I answer this?
Ji Masood sir, if you want to answer.
Madam, we have, as I said earlier, we have challenges and opportunities. Such perception is not developed by Pakistan. Because of the environment I talked about, that we have economic, social, lifestyle, and around the world, because of our strategic location, there are forces which label us differently. And now it is melting. But originally, before 9/11 and during 9/11 and after 9/11, we went through some very difficult time. Not because of our own, because if you take lots of countries, as you said, that Bali had a flood, so people were not going. There is terrorism going on in certain countries, but there's a tremendous tourism. Egypt is one country I visited where you couldn't find a room because all people, they were selling pyramid only and their collection of museums. So, but there was some terrorism going on there. So it's unfortunate that the things that we don't control, the opinion of certain official statements. And I think the people who have come from abroad can help us. And through media, we can soften it. Unfortunately, to understand the media, as our expert panelists were talking about, it is all about marketing. And marketing is based on two things: positioning and repositioning. A time has come when Pakistan has to reposition itself. And the second thing, to develop a positive perception, we must define the profile of who we want in Pakistan, for what product we want. If we address the corporate conventioner, he's not interested in the mountains, he's interested in the cities. But if we try to sell the adventure or the mountains, he will not be sold. So positioning, repositioning, and defining the profile of a tourist coming to Pakistan. I think that will make the difference.
I'm sorry, but I'd like to make two comments on these. Because the first, when you say positioning, repositioning, but I'd like to also add how safe it is then try to, it's not about positioning, but like we have to show what kind of efforts that we are actually doing to make it a safer place to visit. Last year, I had a conference in Nepal. It is about tourism statistic, and I had a presence of tourism police sitting there for 3 days. So they aware the interior safety system in the country is aware how safe that we build our destinations together. And then it's not about just the tourism stakeholders sitting here, but there has to be some other stakeholders which ensure the safety of the destinations of the foreign countries, so that Asian female like myself can travel to all these beautiful places by myself, not to feel threatened or dangerous. And then second thing is that if our place is safe enough, then we have to speak out. Like what we don't repeat the errors that we had in Bali. If it's safe, it's far away, we have to speak out how safe it is, our destination is, so that the other media doesn't really spread the wrong information. And I think media likes very graphic and, graphic images of all these incidents and terrorism. Let them be quiet and then transmit the real information, how safe our destination is.
I'll explain to you. The realization is there, and for that, I think PTDC created a mechanism to improve that data set with the international institutions as well. The data on which basically determines the insurance for international travelers has 5 or 6 different components. It includes the safety and security, confidence in local police. There is a safety walking alone index as well, which basically helps in determining that. And to improve that data set, Pakistan has created its own national travel and tourism competitiveness index, so the true data can be reflective with all those institutions which determine Pakistan's ranking on so many different areas and different perspectives.
Again, taking lead from Masood Sahib, who mentioned about the geopolitical environment and all that. Those are one of the constraints, but the reply answer is that we have the product, we have to be an aggressive seller. We have to be salesmen with a good passion. Now coming on to the reality aspect.
Sir, question.
My question is framed by that background.
Okay.
I've been attending the WTM and ATM and all that. I was surprised. There used to be presence of Pakistan in a kind of a lackluster environment. But I was surprised this time in the ATM, which is the nearest market, there was no presence of Pakistan. So we are going back. We are retreating. Instead of going forward, we need to go forward, number one. Now, how we go forward? Wajad mentioned about that brand Pakistan is one kind of a thing which is missing. But branding Pakistan is like...
Question.
My question is, Branding Pakistan means a complete strategy. Are we structured good enough to devise a strategy and ensure its implementation till the grassroots level? No. 18th Amendment, different provinces, PTDC, is PTDC that authoritative to implement its strategy and gear up the provinces? I do not think so. Presence of the government in this 2 days workshop, that shows another kind of seriousness. So we have to take stock of the situation completely. And can you explain that what are the reasons that we are not well structured, and will there be any recommendations out of this conference?
Okay. Masood Saab, if you can just share your thoughts on this. You are the most appropriate.
I think these are some wonderful questions, very realistic questions. I would, sorry. Yeah, I would request that all the stakeholders, all the experts should create a lobby to make tourism industry independent of any government change. If we do that, we will have consistency, because over the years I'm seeing that we go 10 steps forward, then there's a change in the government and we go back to zero. And because our culture, as I talked about environment, is personality oriented, personality centric, not system oriented. If we are allowed without any change on the top, the tourism continues, then we eventually will evolve around systems. And our systems are very weak, our people are very strong. Okay.
Munir Saab, question please.
My name is Ijaz Malik, and my question is to Ma'am Angela. First of all, our gratitude for highlighting the area of Pakistan, which even no Pakistani has done so far. But as I understand, your accessibility to that area was mostly through personal friends and private networking. Could you please comment on government support or role in your endeavor? Thank you.
Yeah, actually, that is true now, based on the fact that I've moved to this country, used up most of my savings account on this passion project. I do have access now. But my very first trip, when I first came here, it took me 2 months to get an NOC. Well, it's not really an NOC, it's an authorization letter, but because I know that now, because 2 months ago I met with the head of the Home Department, or Zahid Salim from the Home Department in Quetta. I also met with all the other government agencies in Quetta. I met with the district leaders of new districts that I want to do the first ever marketing for their district. But the first trip, I hope I don't offend too many people, but it was the hardest, pain in my ass thing I've ever done, was planning the trip to Balochistan. It was impossible to get a car and driver. People didn't want to do it because of insurance reasons. It was December 2020 when I was supposed to leave. There had been a bomb blast at a mine outside of Quetta, and I didn't have access at that time. There was one tour company in Quetta who could get NOCs, and now that's changing. They're actually trying to diversify, use only accredited PTDC tour operators and agencies for NOCs, and stop the illegal tour operators who are operating without a license. But I have access now because of what I'm doing, which is basically taking over tourism, branding, social media, marketing for Balochistan with the blessing of the PTDC. And yes, I do. But that first trip, no, I didn't. But because I had done that 3-week, almost 5 weeks of reviewing 5-star hotels, and no one had ever done that, I was getting introductions to people because I got on the radar somehow, because I was doing something different. And yeah, now I still haven't been able to get the new chief minister to meet with me, but I've met with past chief ministers. I do have friends that are tribal leaders, like Jalmaxi. I'm opening up and doing the first tours with them, with a strategic partner, Adventure Planners Pakistan. And we're only doing luxury for Balochistan. Everything new that I'm talking about for Balochistan, we're only doing luxury tourism and we're only promoting to foreigners. And these are expensive tours, $5,000, $7,000 tours to Balochistan. And we're using new ways of transportation. We're using, you know, it's all being upgraded and it's something new that has never been done before. I really hope it doesn't fail. But yeah, I have good access now, but I definitely didn't that first time. The first time I was there, actually, the first night, I slept in a house that was completely gutted in Kund Malir. I had been dolphin watching in Dom, and then we went to Kund Malir. And there was no Gold Coast resort back then. There was nowhere to stay in Kund Malir. And we ended up in someone's friend of a friend's house. It was me and like 8 ATF guys, levies guys. It wasn't luxury, it wasn't glamorous, but it was fun. It was really,
I will
really
take
fun.
a last question from Munir Saab. Being a journalist, I would expect you will ask a question.
Of course.
Not
I
a
will
comment.
ask- yeah, my
Or a
name is
suggestion.
Munir Ahmed. I founded Pakistan Mountain Festival way back 2005. My question is, Unji talked about travel advisories. Don't you think all the panel, the question is to the entire panel, don't you think that before going to any comprehensive media campaign on national or international media, we need to mobilize our foreign office to get rid of that image that push those travel advisories, and how we can do it?
Please, Vijay.
ये आपने अच्छी बात की है. हमारा फॉरेन ऑफिस जो है बहुत बड़ा रोल प्ले कर सकता है, और मैं इसलिए कह रहा हूँ कि जो भी हमारी एम्बेसीज़ हैं, काउंसलेट्स हैं पूरी दुनिया में, आप उनको एम्पावर करें, उनको अच्छा कंटेंट दें, और लोगों को बुलाएं उधर. ट्रैवल एडवाइजरी तो चलती रहेंगी, तो मतलब एक डिप्लोमेटिक एक सिलसिला है, ठीक है. जब आपके मुल्क में कोई इंसिडेंट होगा तो ट्रैवल एडवाइजरी लगेगी, आप उसका कुछ नहीं कर सकते. लेकिन अभी मसूद साहब ने भी बताया कि और मुल्कों में भी बड़ी दहशत गर्दी होती थी, उधर टूरिज्म चलता रहता था. मतलब मुझे बताएं ना, 30 साल श्रीलंका में इंसर्जेंसी थी और मुल्कों में भी लगती रहती हैं चीज़ें. कहने का मकसद है आपने परसेप्शन को कैसे बिल्ड करना है, अच्छी परसेप्शन अपने आप को बताना है कि लोग हैं हमारे साथ इश्यूज़. यू नो, she's talked about security in the country. There are security issues, but you know the thing is, we provide security. There's tourism police, right? There is police and other law enforcement agencies, and like things have come like, you know, बहुत अच्छा हो गया. You know, things have come a long way now. We are a very secure country, especially in the northern areas. What I'm trying to say is that the foreign office has to step in, play a very, very major role. Like I said, हम इधर बैठ के बड़ी बड़ी बात, जब तक हुकूमत कुछ नहीं करेगी कुछ भी नहीं हो सकता. आपकी सिक्योरिटी पैराडाइम है वो, उसको आप एड्रेस करें. आप सोचें कि जब ये बाहर से, मैं डॉक्यूमेंट्री फिल्म मेकर हूँ, सो आई नो ऑल दीज थिंग्स. आपके जो बाहर से डॉक्यूमेंट्री फिल्म मेकर्स आके यहाँ पे डॉक्यूमेंट्रीज बनाना चाहते हैं, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ इंटीरियर में उनके 6-6, 7-7 महीने उनके प्रोसेस ही कंप्लीट नहीं होता. आप मुझे बताएं, आपके जब लोग आप पे ऊपर आके फिल्में बनाना चाहते हैं, आप उनको एक्सेस ही नहीं देते, आप उनकी क्लियरेंस ही नहीं करते, तो वो कहाँ से आके डॉक्यूमेंट्री फिल्में बनाएंगे. बाहर से अभी कोई हॉलीवुड कंपनी के जी हमने आके इधर कोई एपिक ड्रामा शूट करना है, कोई यू नो ग्रेट गेम के ऊपर उधर नॉर्दर्न एरियाज़ में, ब्रिटिश कंपनी आए ना कोई, आप लोगों को खुद डेलीगेशंस भेजें, हॉलीवुड भेजें, हांगकॉन्ग की, कम लुक, वी हैव अ लोकेशन, वी हैव द बेस्ट लोकेशंस इन द वर्ल्ड व्हिच वी कैन ऑफर फॉर film making, for movie making. You know, we should send delegations to everywhere. Like aggressive marketing की ज़रूरत है जनाब, aggressive. वही बात है कि अगर आप invest नहीं करेंगे, कोई क्यों आके आपका product खरीदेगा? Simple as that. इस कोई rocket science है नहीं.
Osama, I will give you the platform to conclude this. What would you suggest for the perception recipe for Pakistan? No, as a business and journalist both.
Yeah. Okay, just to summarize what everybody told, or actually I needed to focus on something very important, which is the interactive stories, utilizing, the social platforms. Social media platforms are very important. people in general, everywhere, like to see reality, like to see everything on reality and spontaneously. So there is no need just to capture photos or pictures about landscapes, beauty of landscapes or museums or whatever. We need also to focus on the lifestyle, how people usually, they like to explore and to discover something which is different, completely different from their culture. This is what make me or motivate me to come and visit another country. From my point of view, you have to focus also on your cultural, which is very rich. The folk, yesterday we attended folk performance here from different provinces. It was amazing, but nobody knows about such things. Before I come to Pakistan, I made just a quick survey, and I asked many people, what do you know about Pakistan? Only 1% from different nationalities, because I'm working with a multinational environment. I asked them 1 or 2% give me just a good brief about Pakistan. And the majority of people, they don't know anything about lifestyle. Everybody knows that it's not, by the way, it's not safe. Everybody knows that if you go to Pakistan, you will not find good people to deal with you. Maybe you will be treated in something different from your culture. I mean, you have in your movies, in your stories, all influencers contribute or collaborate together just to focus on this.
Okay, thank you very much. And with this, we will conclude this as lunch is being served.
Just if you allow me to add something.
So it's time for lunch.
In our airline company, I remembered something. As a developer, I started to make or produce some reels about what I have seen personally. And I am going to reproduce all these movies or stories and put them in an application on board called Sky Show. This allows all passengers, not only nationality from Syria, not Syrian nationalities, but different nationalities who are using Shamwings just to see your lovely country. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kindly make sure to be back on your seats by 2:45. Enjoy your lunch. Thank you. Mr. Simone is known for having made first winter ascents of 4 of the 14 8,000ers, such as Nanga Parbat in 2016. He has summited Mount Everest 4 times in 2000, 2002, 2006, and 2010. Please welcome Mr. Moro with a big applause.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much for the invitation. I have few minutes, and I will try to share with you my experience, not only as a mountaineer, that is a way of watching the opportunities, but mainly also thanks to the experience that I built because I was visiting all the mountains of the planet. I was in the highest mountain of Europe, of Pamir, Tien Shan, Kunlun, Karakorum, Himalaya, Andes, Patagonia, Antarctica, Alaska, everywhere, also Indonesia. So I climbed the highest peak of all the planet. So it was a huge opportunity for me to see how the other countries are managing the world tourism and tourism opportunity. Let me tell you, as a foreign, the first things you have to work on is to feel welcome the people that are coming here. And to feel welcome, I don't have to fight to obtain the visa. This is the first things. How I can be attracted to come here, even for a last-minute trip, if I have to prepare 1 month in advance, the all the procedure to get the visa. Now you improve. To come here, I just apply for an online visa, and it was quite fast. But it's limited for 30 days, and limited only if I stay here around in Islamabad. If I want to see the mountain, well, start the suspicious. Who is this? Why is coming here? And you know what's happened? Everybody are buying flight tickets and go to Nepal. So, you know, sometimes to become big and to be the number first, you have to learn from others and you have to be humble. I visited Nepal 112 times and I visited Pakistan 30 times. So it means I love your country. But when, when I come here now, I am coming here used from the standard of your neighbors. It means Nepal. Nepal has two tourism seasons, spring and autumn. So it's not a competitor of Pakistan talking about climbing. Because you have the summer. In Nepal, summer is monsoon season. Nobody will go there. But you know what's happened when a trekkers, a kayakers, a paragliders, a mountaineers, and bikers leave Nepal and come here, or leave Europe, or leave South America and come here, he's expected to have the same kind of services and the same kind of safety. You know what it means? I'm also a helicopter pilot, and I have my own helicopter company in Italy. I have 6 helicopters. I am the only owner of that, and I build it because the tourism now need it. I repeat it, the tourists now need it and they are use it. So if I have a problem during the Baltoro trekking, if I have a problem that I am in Shimshal watching the beauty of these places, if I have a needs that I am in Ushe, I need the opportunity to be rescued, fast and cheap. These 2 words, it doesn't exist here. So you know what it means? It means that even if I have the biggest insurance that cover me even 1 million euro of expenses, I will be dead when someone will rescue me. Safety and feel welcome are the base that come before any investor. I am a potential foreign investor. And the reason why I'm here today is not only to point, because as I repeat, I was 30 times in Pakistan, and this is the 31st, just for 2 days. I'm tempted, I have 2 things in the next hour. I'm tempted to invest here and start an helicopter company here. But I need to feel welcome. It means I can take one of my helicopters here, so take him from Italy, take here, and start to provide sightseeing, start to provide any kind of service, not only in the tourism, for the needs. And how is possible that a 200 million people country has no helicopter? How is possible? How I can feel safe? If you are talking, we are adventure travel, a remote area, this is perfect. But you know what is happening if I go on the Everest Valley? In the base camp, this is working. On the summit of Everest, I can choose roaming from China or roaming from Nepal. Probably someone can say, but this is not more adventure. But if I invite you in my country, in Italy, and I will tell you, there is no mobile signal for the next 20 days, but it's a nice adventure, you would come in Italy or not? So you have to be very realistic. You have to welcome the people to invest, and the first things, the first business card is how I can enter in Pakistan, struggling to get visa. How I can move here if I have to go to Skardu? I have to pray that the flight will be not canceled, and then 48 hours of KKH. And they did so many times. So you, all together, we have to be very realistic. The tourism, any tourism in the world now are used to get certain level of services. So when you do any kind of trekking and excursion in Nepal, you find nearly every day one lodge. It's a small mountain hut. You can choose to do a camping trekking. Here you are forced to do a camping trekking. This is a huge, huge difference. So, I am one of the people who love Pakistan and want to invent in Pakistan. You have to connect each other in all kinds of services, from the top part to the bottom part. So, if the people come here, and I conclude, it has to be also a nice experience, not only when I walk. It has to be also a nice experience also when I rest. You know what it means? Just comparing with your neighbor country or in Europe, people when come here, they get an excursion, and at the evening, they can sit all together, celebrate the birthday of one of the members, or celebrate because they climb an easy peak, and they want to drink a beer. No beer allowed. Okay. If they want to, but those things are very important. You need to have another point of view. Okay. So the tourists are used to enjoy. Suffer for a limited hours in a day, but they need such comfort. So connection, communication, good food, possibility to drink a beer, to hire a chopper to be rescued, to hire a chopper just to see Nanga Parbat, to see the mountains. So you have a lot of tourism here. I was, and I am in Serena Hotel. I see a lot of tourism there. I'm sure that there should be a banner. Do you want to see the mountains? I will take you tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, a chopper flight. I will show you the mountain and come back. And closing. You know what's happened inviting and welcoming the Westerner, for example, in Nepal? Those Westerners fall in love with Nepal and start to build school as a donation, bridges as a donation, power line as a donation. So they didn't attract only tourism. Automatically, they attract interest and love of this country. But to love someone, you have to be loved. It's a double direction. So there is a lot of work to do. The tourist has to leave at home the fear to come here, because I always prayed, I am an ambassador of Pakistan. I always said, Pakistan is not dangerous. The people are very friendly, very welcoming, okay? But it's not enough my words. Now you have to act. Visa, services, communication, safety. This is the project you have to work on. Not only wish that something happen. We will die wishing something. We have to realize something. Thank you.